You know, when I was sitting over there looking around this room, the first thing that I noticed and that I thought about and how I think of you all is that you're all candles. And what I mean by that is you're candles with the flame that burns, with the flame being love and the compassion that you have to be involved, to be here, to graduate, and the judges, the staff, the law enforcement, everyone here, you inspire me because you're like candles with a flame that burns and makes others want to be a part of what you're doing. And to make it clear what I mean by candles, if you imagine, if you would, a dark room, dark, cold room, and you're in this room alone. You're probably sitting in the floor Indian style with your big coat on and everything, shivering. And imagine in the middle of that room, there's one candle, just one candle burning in the middle of that room. And even though you know that candle cannot heat the whole room or keep you warm, the flame on it just looks so inviting. Kind of makes you want to scoot on over closer to it and everything to get warm, even though you know you can't. But it just feels so good that you get inspired that you want to get more candles, and you get more candles, and you light those flames. And then it starts to get warm in there, and you kind of feel the warmth or love. You know, the warmth is a metaphor for love that it puts out. And then you kind of take your coat off because you're feeling good, and you may even move around a little bit, you know, and you get so inspired that you light your own flame. And you get even more inspired, so you go out and tell others about what you're doing and what's going on in here, and they are inspired to light their flames. You see, what you're doing is so important because by people seeing you be involved in this, seeing this young lady graduate, the judges do what they do, you do what you do because you care. That's the foundation of what you do. So you're inspiring others by action. You can tell people something all day till you're blue in the face, but until you lead by example, this is when you can motivate people to come into what you're doing. And that's kind of what brought me into being involved with NAMI and the whole movement for mental health and doing what's right to uplift people. You know, when you do this, you know, like I said, lead by example. I'll give you a good example of somebody that led by example. Before the year 1954, to run a mile in under 4 minutes was unheard of. It was never done until Roger Bannister, a track athlete, came along and shattered that record in 1954. Well, soon thereafter, not even but a couple years, other people were breaking that record, because they saw that it could be done. Even high school track athletes were breaking that record because they saw it done. So that's what's so important about leading by example. And this young lady, what's your name?
Kira.
Kira. That's my daughter's name. You know, Kira's doing what she's done. She's been through this program. She's been through ups and downs, as all of us, every one of us go through in life. We go through ups and downs and setbacks. We go through downs that's so bad, sometimes we might feel defeated. We may feel like there's no hope, or that everybody's doing better than us, and you're just wondering, why me? But you got to realize that those setbacks are steps in your development. That's what they are. You have to view things a certain way and realize that you're gonna fail, but fail your way to the top and learn from every last drop. That's what I always say. It's all about how you view your situation and how you view life. You can view your life as agony, heartache, you came into this world in whatever circumstances, or you can view it as you climbing a ladder. You see, I look at life as a journey. And that's what life is. And Kira right here, she just completed a chapter in her journey. So everybody, give her a round of applause. Congratulations, congratulations. That's so awesome. And you're going to inspire others. And all the times, even when we go through things with jobs and things, even the judge right here, and all of us sometimes have hard times getting up in the morning and being discouraged about going to work sometimes. Little things like that bother us, and we just don't know how we can keep going because we're making mistakes sometimes looking at the big picture of how far out. We're looking too far out. But we need to realize that the past, scars, heartache, fear, sadness, all of this exists only in the past. You see, the only thing that matters in your life right now is now. That's it. This moment. And what you do from this moment forward will determine where your journey goes, and it will create the new great past that I know you will create. Now, I don't know many people in this room, but I know just by you being here that you have greatness in you. Every one of you, everybody in here, you have greatness in you. But it's all about how you view your situation. Even if you have a loved one that you lose in your life, you have to view this as a strengthening part. And then when you have a setback, you work on a plan or idea or your purpose, and something doesn't go right, look at this as a learning experience, and you redirect. Cut you a path where no one's ever been down. Because you don't know where your journey's going to take you, but you have to get started to get there. You must understand that. And I know all about journeys and not knowing where they'll lead. Because in the 90s and 2000s, I raced professional BMX bicycles, bicycle motocross. I toured all over the country, had factory sponsors, signed autographs, magazine coverage, all of that stuff. But in the beginning, it didn't unfold as easy as I'm making it sound. But in the beginning, I knew that I had to, if I wanted to get there and this being my dream, I had to do the homework. I had to study. I had to research. I had to do things to build my own self-confidence up. You see, your confidence doesn't lie in the confirmation of others. Your confidence lies in knowing. When you know you do the homework, you know you researched, you know you've done whatever you had to do, this is where you build confidence. So whatever you may want to do in life, if you research it and read books, I read 4 books a month. This is something that I do. And now that Audible's out, I can do other things while I'm listening. You know, and so you have to realize that your journey may be out there and you want to do it, you don't know where it's going to lead. A lot of people don't get started on a journey or ambition simply because they're predicting, well, I can't get there, I won't have a ride, I won't be able to do this or that. You have to get started to get there. You don't know how you're going to get there. We don't know what tomorrow may bring, but as long as we know we do the right thing within the now, today, just like all of these beautiful faces are here, that's inspiring right there. I'm inspired just by seeing all of you here. And that's going to carry over into me going out and motivating more people. And you see, like back to what I said about never knowing where your journey would take you, I did BMX, so I knew I had to deal with fitness. I knew I had to train. I knew my body had to be perfect. I knew my bicycle had to be right. I knew all of this. And see, through the amateur ranks, all of that was fine. But when I got to the professional level, see, by professional, everybody's in shape. So the game steps up to a higher level then. And the only next level up is the mind. I had to program my mind. You see, God has given us tools. He's given us tools that a lot of us fail to use. Tools that however we think and believe and whatever we research, it manifests into our lives. So you have to persist and know that if you persist, there's no way you can fail. There's no way. Even through programs like CARES just completed, even through anything in life, you have to keep persisting no matter what. Just keep realizing that you're learning as you go. You see, the motivation thing carried over for me because after BMX, I got into motivational rap music. Not saying I got into motivational rap because that was a happy thing, because it most certainly wasn't. Secular rap music, all this shoot 'em up, downgrading women stuff was the popular stuff. But I chose to go with motivation. Because through all the books that I read, all the training, all the ups and downs with racing, it was developing me into a motivator. And you see, I wasn't thinking of this back then now. If someone would have asked me to get in front of you back then, I probably would be laying out in the floor from thinking. You know, but it's strange how the journey transforms you into what you are today. Look at all our journeys so far, life being a journey. Look at all our journeys so far has brought us all to this room today. I think that's beautiful. And that's what I'm saying. So you get out there and you keep doing it, and you'll see where it leads. So, but it didn't stop at the motivational rap. It didn't stop there. It was carrying on. You see, since I raced BMX in the prior years, people out as far as California knew me. And once I came out with my hit song, He Chose Me, featuring actor and singer Stan B. Lackey, well, a friend out in California, he heard that song. And he got in contact with me on social media and told me about his friend that has a Christian hip-hop station in Las Vegas that he would like to submit my song there. So we submitted my song, He Chose Me, to his hot radio. And they loved it. They loved it so much, and the listeners loved it so much, that my song went #1 for 2 months in a row. 2 months, most requested song on his hot radio. Now you see how things are manifesting? Because of what I'm doing, the actions I'm taking towards things. It's not like I'm any better than you, or it's not that. It's just that I persisted, that I would not take no for an answer. And now, since I got on that station, and mind you, 3 years prior to me getting on the station, going #1 for 2 months in a row, 3 years prior to that, I always write out notes and plans on what I want to do. I projected out as far as 10 years. I had wrote in a book, since I was doing motivational rap, that I wanted to have my own show someday. I didn't know how I was going to do it. It was going to be TV, radio, or just in my room. I didn't know. But I wrote the plan out. You see, a popular speaker by the name of Les Brown once said, it's better to have a plan and no opportunity than an opportunity with no plan. So I wrote it out, flashback to my song going #1 for 2 months in a row. Most requested, I keep saying that. Be proud of that. Be proud of your accomplishment. Always reflect on this day. And see, my song did that and everything. It was great. So they called me up for an interview. Well, I did BMX for a lot of years by this point, so I was used to interviews. So they interviewed me. It was a great interview. Totally motivational, because I'm carrying this now. And it's natural for me to motivate. If you have a one-on-one conversation with me, I'm always going to uplift you. I'm going to try. Because I ask God every morning, what can I do for the world today? And so, my song goes #1 and everything, gets on the stage. I did an interview and everything. We hit it off great. 3 months after that interview, Sam Stewart, owner of His Hot Radio, calls me out of the blue and asks, would I like to have my own show on His Hot Radio? And when I heard this, I paused for a second. Then I thought about that tablet that I wrote the plan out in, and I said, I'll do it. Give me a couple of months, but I'll do it. And so that was the beginning. That was 3 years ago. That was the beginning of the Hurricane Name Show on His Hot Radio, a show designed to inspire, motivate, and inform. Now, it didn't stop there. The motivation didn't stop there. You see, because 2 years ago, we had a tragedy in my family. I'm on the radio for a year at this point, and my cousin Chance Zachary committed suicide 4 days before his 24th birthday. It devastated our family. This is a kid that grew up with my kids. He's the same age as my second oldest child. So it devastated us. And I can recall riding in my truck 2 days after this tragedy, and I was crying, and I was praying. And I said, God, what can I do to keep my cousin's Chance's name going? What can I do? You bless me with this radio platform Because I'm always trying to put the right energy on there. I always said when I was a kid, if I could ever get popular or famous, I would use it for good. And so this happened. I prayed to God, and without a moment's hesitation, God's voice came in my head. And he said, give life a chance, like on this shirt. In memory of Chance Zach, my cousin. And that's when my Give Life a Chance movement was born. And it's a movement designed to bring awareness to mental health, and it's designed to bring awareness to suicide prevention. But it didn't stop there. You see, because with my show, with that, I met the nice people at NAMI. Barbara Neiman over there, and all the great people. And this got me into a whole new loop of people, because you never know where your journey is going to take you. I'm telling you, I'm a living testimony. I didn't graduate from high school. I went back and got a GED. They gave me a little certificate after I got the GED. I was proud of it, much like the certificate you may get today. But I wouldn't recommend hanging that one on over the mantelpiece or nothing like that. No, I didn't want to hang my GED thing up. But as long as you know you got that, because that's your reference, you can go back and know you accomplished something, and you're one of the last ones standing, and you made it through that. You made it through the fight. You know, and that's what we all have to do. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep persisting, keep believing, keep God as our foundation. And when I say keep God as your foundation, it's kind of like building a house where you got foundations under a house, and you put one brick on there at a time or one plank at a time, with the planks and bricks or bricks being the learning experiences, the things you go through. And sometimes when you're building a structure, a storm may come and knock it down, but you just learn to do it a different way and make it stronger next time. And you keep pushing, you keep persisting, keep believing, and knowing that you're great. And I like to challenge everyone in this room to, every morning when you get up, rather than turning the news on, rather than turning the news on the radio or TV on, get up and read something positive. Or look in the mirror and tell yourself how great you are. Because you made it here. You are here for a reason. And not trying to sound graphic, but through all those sperms that chase the egg, you guys made it. We all made it. We're the one. So don't think down on yourself, because I was at the lowest of the low at points in my life. I've been to jail. I've been there. But when I was in there, I was planning on what I could do to better myself when I got out. So just remember those things and keep uplifting others by your words, but sometimes words are just not enough. Do action. That's what I would say. That's what I would tell you all, to keep doing what you're doing to perfect yourself, because what else you got to do in life? But, I mean, sitting around waiting for the Grim Reaper ain't fun, you know? So what else is it there to do? Keep uplifting people, because God wants us to give to the world. That's the secret. So many people suffer because there's like, what can I get? What can I get from this? What can I get from that? And when you live that way, your mind's programmed. See, remember I said something about the tools that God puts inside of us? Whatever you think is going to draw to your life. I don't know if you're familiar with the law of attraction, but I'm a living testimony for it. Just by the things that I told you that unfolded in my life to make me into the person that I am now. You know, so just keep motivating others and keep doing what you do. And Kira, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so honored, and I thank everyone for your attention. I'm Hurricane Manny. It's been an honor. Thank you.